Hello and welcome to Counterpressed on The Ringer and Spotify. I'm in the studio with Jessy Humphreys and Becky Taylor-Gill. On today's show is part one of our WSL season preview. We're going to run through who we think is going to finish in the bottom half of the WSL table. So today's show is all about teams 14 to 7. Guys, before we get into our predictions, we have to talk about some big news. Paperwork just signed yesterday. Wow. Joining the Counterpress family for one night only is Jana Fernandez.
Woo!
Woo-hoo! Very exciting because, Becky, I think you've worked with her before.
Yeah, I did a show with her at the end of last season. She was very fun and silly.
Is she good crack?
She was
really fun.
It'd be awkward if you're like, oh,
yeah, it's going to be a lot tough crowd.
Yeah.
No, she was really
and
fun.
the signature is dry.
She, I think, is perfect for the Counterpress vibe. She is loads of fun, very silly. I did also see some good supermarket content coming out of the BBC 5 Live pod, so I feel like we can lean into that. She was talking about how much she loves Asda.
Oh my god, I love that from her.
That's a crazy choice.
A crazy choice,
like
but we'll get into that.
I like Asda. Oh, I've forgiven Asda after Lampgate.
Just quick.
Well, yeah, because I harassed them till they gave me a refund.
What was Lampgate?
You don't watch my Instagram story.
What was it?
So I bought this lamp and then I went to collect it. They emailed me and were like, come and collect it right away. We've got so many packages. So I went to collect it. Day one. I stayed there for 40 minutes. Their system wasn't working. I went home. I went back the next day, collected it, got home, broken. And then...
We got to talk to Jana about that one.
Exactly. And then I kicked off. I was rattled. I lost my head because they were like, to get a refund, and bearing in mind this lamp was only £14, they're like, to get a refund you're gonna have to bring it back. And I was like, I'm not fucking coming back a third time. I called up the customer service and I spoke to a woman on the phone. She was like, there's nothing I can do. I have never been so close to shouting at a customer service person. I said, it was really funny actually, I said, this is Asda's fuck up. Why do I have to go back? And when I said fuck, she went, oh! But then I harassed them on social media and then they just gave me a full refund and then I super glued the lamp back together. I mean, it does still have a big gigantic crack and missing load of paint on it, but it's a win and I've forgiven them so we don't have to boycott Asda anymore.
So we can talk about Asda
we can talk about
at the live show.
Yeah. Do you want to... I feel like you've not said what Jana Fernandez is doing with us.
For the live pod?
Yeah,
Did I not say that?
I just feel like you didn't actually explain what it was. You
Sorry.
said she's joining us for one night only.
We're going to Asda. We're going to Asda with Jana Fernandez.
for one night only.
No. Good point. Okay, so of course, we've already been plugging it a little bit, but we're going to carry on plugging until next Sunday. So Sunday, the 6th of September, it's of course the opening weekend of the WSL. Who does London City have? Manchester United at home. So we'll be talking about that game with Jana like a few days later.
She's going to go to the party after because they've got this...
Well, we'll all get our teeth... We're getting our teeth done, aren't we?
I'm so upset that I can't be there.
It's like a club night or something.
Yeah,
what is it?
Half-price drinks, saxophone,
DJs.
They're
staying open after.
And teeth gems.
Teeth gems.
If you guys all turn up to the live pod with teeth gems,
my teeth are going to be full.
I don't know if I
don't be blinded by how blinging my teeth will
I don't think I can rock a tooth gem. I don't think it's for me.
As someone that had braces for like 2.5 years.
Same.
And like it might
I've never had braces. So.
Yeah,
your teeth? Wow.
I think it'd be triggering to
They're
get.
very good teeth for no braces.
Thanks.
So yeah, we're going to be joined by Jana for the live show. Tickets are available on our Instagram, link in bio, or if you go King's Place, London Podcast Festival, Google Counterpress live show, King's Place, find your tickets there. Going to be loads of fun. We'll make sure we get some audience questions.
What's going to be our version of teeth gems though? How do we?
Ooh, I don't know.
How do we get people in? Yeah, I don't know.
What's the saxophone equivalent? Can you play the recorder, Becky?
I can try.
I could bring my
do that.
ukulele.
Can you play the ukulele?
Yeah.
That's so
Wow.
2012 of you.
I know.
That is so 2012.
I know, yeah.
Wow.
I used to love playing like...
Did you have a little hat as well?
A hat?
You know, like Jason Mraz used to wear that like little hat.
Like tiny beanie.
Like
Yeah.
a fedora type
Yeah,
thing.
like a mini fedora that kind of just sits on top of your head.
No.
We'll buy you one.
We'll get you one.
Press branded.
We'll get you one for next Sunday.
It's also our live show is right after Chelsea Arsenal men, so my level of rattle could be.
Well, I think there's
high.
a nice combo in which, if there's interest, we do like a maybe pre-show pub meetup to watch.
I like that.
The Arsenal Chelsea game. Obviously, it is in proximity to the Emirates, so we might need to just figure out a place big enough to host us. But there's a good pub down the road from King's Place on York Way, because it's right next to King's Cross Station. So there's a pub that's like next to the Nando's. I don't know if they have TVs though.
Oh yes, I know the one you mean.
But I don't know if they show football.
We'll figure it out.
But if you're interested in the pre-match, pre-live show meetup to watch the game, drop us a DM and we'll figure that out. But first and foremost, get your tickets to the live show. It's going to be so much fun. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's chat WSL previews next. Okay, so let's start with the bottom of the table, who we think is going to finish 14th this season, and I think it's going to be Charlton. Easy, unanimous decision there. Why do we think it's going to be Charlton? Well, obviously, they came up as the third placed WSL 2 side, beating Leicester City on penalties. A Sophie Whitehouse stormer in the penalty shootout.
Guys, can we talk about her scream in the Arsenal game last night?
What scream?
Wait,
I watched it. I had it on.
Mariona, I was obviously actually at the Chelsea game, but before Mariona took her penalty, she went,
See, I was watching on mute because I was recording something at the same time, so I didn't have any
I was
sound.
like, Sophie Whitehouse, I'm sad because you are about the only aura-full person within this Charlton team, and you have diminished all of your aura.
No, I like it.
No, Becky, it's...
I didn't hear the scream, so I'm
have
only
to
going
watch
on
it.
theory.
I think it is an aura reducer, but I think it's a funny bit.
Also, is that you could get booked for that, right?
You could.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because she's...
I don't think they
Was she
book
screaming
you for
like
that.
at herself, or
I think it's
was
just
she trying
anything.
to distract?
She was obviously trying to distract.
But because goalkeepers wave their arms, so it's not very different. You wouldn't get booked for that.
No, but
if you like Flash,
goalkeepers definitely have.
That would be horrible.
Goalkeepers have definitely been booked for doing silly stuff.
I feel like normally you get booked for like time if you're taking ages.
Or if you go really close and you hang around and
and
you don't go back when the referee wants you to go back. Obviously, we got a little bit sidetracked there, but Sophie Whitehouse, a big part of why they got promoted last season in that playoff final. Leicester City got relegated. But one of the reasons I think we all think they may struggle is just the lack of quality in the squad. They also really didn't score a lot of goals last season. They went on that 27-game unbeaten streak. They spent a lot of time at the top of the table. But compared to Birmingham, who scored 46 goals, and Palace that scored 44, Charlton only scored 31 goals last season. Their kind of big signings of the summer, a 33-year-old Ash Neville, a 33-year-old Emily Van Egmond. So they're kind of leaning on very experienced players, but who are probably more likely to be playing in WSL 2 if they weren't at Charlton. And obviously, both of them got relegated with Leicester last season. So I do think it could be a bit of a slog, and we'll obviously get on to Palace and Birmingham. But I think there are more exciting or ambitious or smart signings that those teams have made, even if they might still struggle this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it was reading Sophie Downey's Guardian preview of Charlton when she had, for the star signing pick, Ash Neville, which is no shade on Sophie. You've got to pick someone. But I feel like if Ash Neville's your star signing in 26, 27, it's all gone horribly wrong. I think the thing is for Charlton, look, the budget they're operating on compared to everyone else, particularly with the context that their men's team are in, like the other two promoted teams, Palace are a Premier League team, Birmingham City are a team who have ambitions to get in the Premier League, Charlton are a team who have done well to stay in the Championship for the season they had there last year. It's amazing that they get to be in the WSL, and I think that's what they're going to take from it. Like, they clearly do not have the capability within the club to invest. The club's also being put up for sale, so there's like sort of uncertainty around that. There's a lot of like other things going around the club, which just means clearly they're not going to have the ability to keep up with the amount of money you need to, I think, have to compete in the WSL. And yeah, I think in terms of their performances in WSL 2, they were a team who were very good defensively, and they showed that against Liverpool in that FA Cup game as well, where it took Liverpool a long time to score at the Valley. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep hold of some of that defensive solidity in the WSL and maybe pick up some points that way. But their attack was pretty horrendous, and I think they were quite lucky with some of the results they were picking up in WSL2 last season when I went to watch them play a couple of times. I think it's just one of those things, ultimately.
I think it's interesting that Liverpool is their first game. I don't know if they'll take some confidence from that FA Cup game last year, because they were very defensively strong. We really struggled. But I don't, even if they did get a result against Liverpool, I still don't think that it will give them a boost. I still don't think that will last. I think it's a real shame, because I really like Charlton. I think because of the Kate Longhurst stint at Charlton. I've got a Charlton scarf at home. I want them to do well. I love going to the Valley.
And when you were living southeast, they were probably your local team as well.
Yeah, I love a team that is committed to playing in their main stadium.
Well, I was going to say, on a positive note, home games at the Valley. It's been a long journey to get back to the top of women's football, given after the men's team were relegated to the Premier League, they were briefly disbanded before coming back together. They kind of clung on pre-WSL formation in women's football, and then once the WSL was formed, they really dropped out. So to get back to the top of women's football, given their history in the women's game, FA Cup winners, Casey Stoney, Eni Aluko, etc., it's a really positive moment, even though it could be a really difficult season. And I think that it's important to recognise that, rather than obviously us realistically thinking about their chances. It's not going to be particularly easy for them. But it's also, what's amazing is Karen Hills enters the league as basically the longest running manager, because she's been in the post since 2021.
And I'm hearing she's blonde now.
She has had some highlights done.
Highlights have happened.
Okay, maybe we put them up to 13th.
No, I would
change.
I would not.
I'm not going to say the word, because then you'll have to do a whole language warning at the beginning. But Bob, blonde Bob.
Well,
That's
okay,
got some
blonde.
power.
I think she's gone lighter. Blonde. She's not blonde, but she's gone much lighter.
Okay.
So, how would I
get the bleach, Karen? Go full out.
Go big. I mean, she could go even bigger, but I would say I noticed a lighter shade. So I'm here for it.
It's annoying that our live show might. I guess you can go to this game. Are you going to go to this game before our live show?
I am,
okay.
yeah.
So you can do our boots on the ground journalism.
I'll get some binoculars out.
Great.
First three games, Liverpool, as you mentioned, Everton and LCL. Not the worst and not the best run. You'd ideally want to be playing the other promoted sides in that first few games. Okay, let's go on to who we think is going to finish 13th. I actually think the next few places are a bit more up for grabs, but I'll run through who I think is going to finish 13th. And I did move some things around when I was doing this. I've gone for Crystal Palace.
Me too.
I went West Ham.
Ooh, okay, they're not far off though for me. Well, should we jump in on Crystal Palace? I mean, I do think when you look at their summer reinforcements and their loan deals, I actually don't think it's a terrible squad. I just think the gap is the gap, and that's the challenge. Obviously came up second, only missing out on goal difference to Birmingham. They had a really great late charge. They kept hold of really important players like Annabelle Blanchard. And the summer window's actually been pretty good. I'm just looking at everyone else's squads and looking at what Birmingham have invested in, thinking I just feel like Palace are going to be that far behind, but not probably a great number of points, but they will be 13th for me.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think Palace will. They benefit from having been in the WSL fairly recently. So when you're talking about, say, Blanchard, Ashley Veerden, these are players who they know what the league's like. We've seen them perform well at points in this division, even if they have since been relegated. Lexi Lloyd-Smith feels like a really exciting addition. I'm excited to see what she can do at this level. And then I think when you're adding Beth England, that is someone you can kind of rely on to score goals, which is very handy. And I think Molly Bartrip's also a good addition in terms of bringing loads of experience to that team. So I think the thing that's difficult with sort of predicting this is Charlton, I think, feel so obviously further below other teams. I'm like, well, so what? So 14th goes down automatically this season, and 13th will do the playoff against second, right? In WSL 2. So I think, Palace would probably feel like they have a good chance. Like, they feel like a more... Obviously, Leicester City did lose that playoff last year, but Palace feel like in a more...
There's a vision there.
Yeah, interesting position than Leicester City were. So I feel like for lots of these teams, maybe in and around the bottom, that goal of 13th is a reasonable one to aim for. And I mean, obviously you don't want to be in the playoff, but
it's hard when so many teams coming up. We've got 3 teams coming up, so it's going to get a bit scrappy down there. But I do think, like you say, having been in the WSL before, having kind of played the long game in some ways of I think building something smart to try and hang around. And it's not like Leicester when they were in free fall and actually you felt like if they get to the playoff game they're going to be in real trouble, and obviously everything going on that wider club is very chaotic. There's some smart moves being made there. The very kind of rogue loan deal, which I kind of hadn't really taken stock of until I was prepping for this, is Peno Magnan arriving in goal. So random.
Yeah,
so random. But kind of a lost ballerette from time gone by.
Old school.
But kind of love that.
Yeah.
Obviously, very, very experienced. But BTG, tell us why you think West Ham are going to finish 13th.
I mean, I only have Palace above them by 1. I just think West Ham have been stinky for years, and there's something in the stagnation of it compared to a team like Palace who are coming up and have these big kind of ambitions and the drive of we've just been promoted and this is really exciting and we've got a good team coming together. I think that is the big difference for me in between those two, of a team that's we're ready and we're excited, whereas a team who are kind of coming in being God, it's tough and it's hard and it's been hard for a while to stay up.
I feel roguely positive about West Ham.
Their transfer business has been pretty impressive.
I put West Ham as high as 9th.
Wow.
But now you've said that, I have thought, have I gone too soon? Have I been convinced by Rita Guarino's curl?
Amazing.
I will say I've got them 10th and I had them lower. Becky, I was on this is the year West Ham finally get punished. But actually, when you then take stock of their transfer window, you think, well, they have reinforced massively. I think there's still a question mark about Rita Guarino. I still don't really know what's going on there.
Guys, there's one video you need to watch and you'll change your mind.
Oh, you're a big Rita fan now?
It's her making a cocktail in West Ham's pre-season.
So you fancy her?
No, I don't fancy her. Just the vibes are great. The vibes are amusing.
I'm so gutted because I put an interview with her down in my pre-season media requests, but they couldn't make it work, and they were like, "Oh, we'll do it another time." And I was so gutted because I really want to chat to her.
And she can make cocktails.
That would be great. And Spurs West Ham is at midday.
Great, she's got time.
So she's got time to get over.
I might just email West Ham and see if they will. No, I totally hear what you're saying about the stagnation of West Ham, and I can't decide if their glossy recruitment is actually going to kind of get anywhere or reap any rewards.
I mean, it's surprising really that they've done any good recruitment considering their men's team just got relegated for the first time in
the Kelly Gago signing, I think this is why I'm positive, is because for me she's a player who, when she is fit and playing well, she will just cause defences problems, and I feel like that is just a very underrated, when we've seen teams do well, it's maybe better than expected. It's amazing how often it's just having a really on-form striker is. You think about England keeping Spurs up, you think about Daly's great season with Villa, squads that weren't really that good but were just hauled along by individual players. And I think when you add, then you've still got Asai there, you've got Ueki there, Zeldog on a permanent deal is quite fun.
I think Zellum signing Ebony Salmon as well. I think it's a decent addition.
Is a bit of a trick one to me because I feel like we need to let thinking that Ebony Salmon are good at footballers go.
We need to let it go.
Well, I know. I
do the same reaction to you. I'm like, ooh, Ebony Salmon, and then I think,
No,
Well, no,
it's
because
been-
I think
it's been too long.
if you basically want to play counter-attacking football, you can just
Sure,
unleash her and
yeah,
do that. That's
yeah.
all. That's all she's good for.
She'll run, yeah.
She'll run, and she might cause a few problems. Cascarino, Estelle,
The other
Cascarino, my good friend Laia Cadena. I think you know.
Laia Cadena as well, actually. Sorry,
It's
I've forgotten
actually
about
not
that.
a bad
That's crazy,
one.
yeah.
She's
That's
like
crazy coming from you.
no, but she's not good for Arsenal,
but she's good.
West Ham
This is her
this
level. She is bottom, like
She
bottom
is a
of
good
the bottom half.
WSL
yes,
defender.
exactly.
I think that's fair.
My friend
I
and
see it.
yours,
Fine,
Laia
fine.
Cadena. Palace actually have a bit of a tough start to the season. They've got Everton, Arsenal, Spurs. So we'll have Palace in 13th. We'll come back to the West Ham position maybe. Everton, I've got them in 12th.
Same.
Wow.
Oh my god, we've gone very similar.
I have Everton in 10th.
10th.
So
Okay.
they're not far
They're
off.
not far off. They have not done enough transfer business.
Yeah.
Their squad is looking thin on the ground. Again, Becky, like what you were saying about West Ham, they have been stinking up the place for a very long
Yeah.
time. I don't think it's going to be enough to see them go down, but I think this could be a very difficult year. Lost Tony Payne, obviously mentioned Kelly Gargo,
Martina Fernandez.
Martina Fernandez, who was one of their best
and
players.
also like one of these, I mean, I understand maybe they could only buy her from Barcelona with a buyback, but it just feels so funny that like your transfer business is where you get this like, you take this player on loan, you manage to bring them in permanently, and then actually like their original club's just like, yank, we'll take her again. Like the whole structure of that deal feels weird to me.
It's stupid. It's bad business.
Yeah, it just doesn't really make sense.
They've not done anything exciting ever. Sorry.
Well, I'm
bored of it. I'm bored of them.
I will say, so those are their exits, and then you've got Noemi Mouchon, who obviously hasn't really come back to her best since her ACL injury, but I do think is a good player. So if you can get her firing, you'll do well. Rantala, who like will get some goals, but is kind of past her best. Hannah Blundell, Hannah Kane. It's a lot of like Leicester City rejects.
I just think if you're buying, okay, yes, the better players, but from the team that were like not just relegated, but like were really bad.
Yeah.
It's like does not feel like a good position to be in.
When have they even? What have they done recently? Have they even had a cup run recently? Even Liverpool have had a cup run recently. Like, you know what I mean? And we've been stinking up the gas.
What they might do is they might give themselves a bit of a head start based on their fixtures to like boost their place in the table, because their first three fixtures, Palace, Charlton and West Ham.
That's a good
That's
start.
a very nice way to
It's a
start the
good
season.
start.
So we might be tricked, after the first month thinking, oh, Everton are in 8th. Like things are going well, but then I think life will start to catch up with them.
It will be interesting to see how Holly McNamara looks. I think
She's the only nice signing.
She is. It feels like a bit of a coup for Everton to have got her, but then also sometimes I feel like when you realise that probably better teams have passed on someone, that's also like a bit of a question mark. I think, obviously at points she's looked amazing in Australia and has had a terrible run of luck with injuries. But I do also there is always that question mark of what a player looks like coming from Australia to the WSL. It is a really big jump, and we've seen players really, really struggle to make that adjustment in a way that's like effective. And some players get there. Like I think if we look at like Charlie Rule or Maddie Haley at Brighton, both of whom had injury issues, Rule quite significantly, but both of whom looked really good in Australia, but maybe took some time to get used to here. So it might be something that like it takes McNamara a little while. Like I do think she is a good player, but she feels like the most exciting one. But I'm also like, I wouldn't rely on her looking great in the first 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to take her time. And actually Charlton similarly have brought in 2 players from A-League who I think are the hopeful recruitment that's going to kind of get them somewhere, but it's a very different competition level.
When I did an interview right at the end of last season with Charlie Rule and Madison Haley, and they were both like, yeah, it's like crazy physical here. It's like so different, and it's just like that's the kind of thing that takes like just like some time to get used to. It's not like you can like just like do it immediately.
You have to learn to change your game.
You have to change, and that just takes some time.
Yeah, and we see it all the time with players having to take those different levels of adjustment, especially as well if you come from playing in a an A-League team that towards the top of the league, like you're going to be playing in a different situation than to going towards a team that, less so in Brighton's case, but Everton's case for sure, where you're more likely to be towards the bottom of the league. And we see it with Spanish players as well, right? Like you're used to having, like, say, potentially more time on the ball, being in a more technical division rather than having someone just run straight through you.
Welcome to England. We play non-woke football.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Charlton, Palace. I've gone Everton in 12th. We're going to come back to the West Ham question.
You guys have got West Ham so high.
11th, Birmingham City. What are we saying?
Same.
BTG?
14, 13. Yeah, I actually have Birmingham.
Oh, lovely. We're back
Yeah.
to a triple agreement. Okay, so thing about Birmingham is I actually quite like their recruitment. There's so much ambition there. You mentioned, the money flowing through the overall club because they're desperate to get the men's team back in the Premier League. You can see that same ambition with the women's team. The training ground is lovely. Like there's money going into the stadium again. So I think the vibes are high. The ambition is strong. They've stuck with a manager. They've spent some money. Lisa Narsland and Millie Turner coming, already building on a very strong squad, came up as champions. All that being said, I think this is going to be like just consolidate, finish well, don't get scrappy at the bottom of the table, and then next season we might see a bit more ambition and see them climb higher. For me, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I agree. I think, Chancel Effa will be interesting to see because she has a fantastic name, first and foremost. And that's another sort of
Say
six
it
figure.
3 times quick.
Chancel Effa. Another 6-figure signing they've made, who feels like a really exciting young player. But yeah, I think they seem like a team who feel very confident in the structure they've built in WSL2. They're happy with, a lot of sort of younger players who've like developed through that team, and they want to keep the bulk of that with, additions. I think Nelson and Turner let's be real, neither of these two are going to set the world alight, but like they offer you some WSL experience.
And I think Narsland could have gone to, like, obviously they're together, so that's why they've moved together. But I think she could have played at a higher WSL side.
Yeah, potentially. I think both
for Turner,
of them,
the move makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I think both of them are like fine for me. So yeah, and I agree. I think with Birmingham, they've been spending money quite consistently, like within WSL2. And they don't seem interested in doing the London City Lionesses thing where you bin off that whole team and buy a totally new one for your WSL season. And I think that's a perfectly fine strategy. And they look like they're in a good place. They've obviously had some, fun investment from Karen Carney and Kim Clijsters as well. It's like quite an interesting sort of ecosystem they're building there. Yeah, Amy Merricks is, seems like a young switched on manager. It's cool to see her getting the opportunity back in the WSL. I'm excited for them.
The most important thing that we're forgetting is that in my table of WSL teams and gay bars, they jumped right into second place.
Whoa, huge.
Yeah.
We'll do that on the next episode.
Yeah.
Predictions of that.
They're pretty close. They're pretty walkable to a gay bar.
Wow. No, I think, obviously the biggest representation now in the league is Midlands and London. So Birmingham's...
We're moving slightly.
Yeah.
We're moving. The North is going to have its moment again.
We've added 2 London teams and 1.
It's slow. It's slow and it's happening.
But yeah, no, I love, I think St Andrews is a great ground to go to, so I'd encourage everyone to go. Tough start to the season for them, but don't panic if the first 3 games don't go well, because you've got Manchester City, Brighton and Chelsea as your first 3 games. So that is a tough start to life back in the WSL, but it's taken them a little bit of time, but they're back. Okay, so then I'm going on to West Ham, who I have finishing 10th. JPH, should you also go 10th?
No, I have West Ham in 9th.
Oh, okay, Rita Stan. So, we kind of run through them already.
Yeah.
But that's the one that's going to be, I guess, the most kind of debatable in our lineup. They've got an okay-ish start to season. Spurs, London City and Everton. You'd think they could definitely win that Everton game, maybe pick up a point in those other 2.
I don't agree. I think they're... Sorry, I think they're a bit pants.
It's going to be...
I don't think they're going to pick up a point against London City. Like, obviously, we'll have to have a London City debate probably another day, but I don't think they're picking up
I said out of London City or Spurs game, they might get a point from one of those two games.
Okay.
And beat Everton. I think Everton are going to be like the whipping boys.
I don't know. I like between West Ham and Everton, I would back Everton still. I don't know.
Wow.
I think
from a Liverpool fan.
I think
Becky.
I think they're both obviously down there, but I have West Ham way lower than you guys.
I know, and now I'm like doubting myself.
I just
don't know why.
I also just did it on like pure gut. So that's also like you've looked at stuff properly. I've just gone
Vibes.
West Ham.
I know, but sometimes that's the better way to do it.
And I totally get your logic. It's the same logic I've applied to Everton. It's like you've been, faking it for too long. Something's got to happen. 9th, I've got Aston Villa, and you had West Ham.
So I've got Aston Villa in 10th.
Okay, so let's talk about Aston Villa. I'm concerned about their transfer window because I think there's still additions to be made. It was a real rocky season for Natalia Arroyo last season, and I do worry about them. I'm excited and then I get concerned in that they've also, looking at their start to the season, they've got Chelsea and Man City and Brighton as their first 3 games. I do worry that she could get into early trouble, and based on the stop-start nature of their season last season, she might come under pressure. I really like her as a coach. She's a very hilarious and interesting person, and I want her to do well, but I'm just worried about their squad, and I don't think they've had a busy enough summer.
They are such a strange one. I mean, even their last season felt quite strange to me because they did have like these performances that were good. Like you think about when Chelsea went to Villa Park on the second day of the season, game week of the season, and Villa should have won that game and somehow didn't. They obviously had the draw against Arsenal, also similarly early on. That one was maybe a little bit more like they got a bit lucky there with Arsenal not being able to finish their dinner and them then nicking a point, but like they did have like performances where you felt like the bones of something was there, and then they would just go through these periods where they were so chaotic defensively. And I think that's the big question mark for me with Villa, is how much can they tighten it up at the back. But the problem is they've got to do that whilst having lost the player who scored almost all of their goals. So like Kirsty Hansen's obviously gone to Spurs. I think it's a massive loss, and I think it says a lot about where Villa are as a club, that they couldn't keep hold of her and Spurs could get her, because I think even 18 months ago we would have put those clubs maybe the other way round in terms of sort of ambition and what they were building. And I think, Hansen scored like 12 or 13 WSL goals, and their next highest scorer had 3. And then I think it was Rachel Daly, who's like perma injured, with 2. They've like gone heavy on Scandi Nordic players.
And young players as well. Like I think if I'm a young player, I would see Villa as a great opportunity to grow and develop and get minutes, because you're going to play. And they've obviously brought in Lily Murphy on loan, and there's an expectation I think she'll get a lot of minutes. So I think that's exciting in itself, but I just do worry about the ability to get results. And last season they won 5, drew 5, they lost 12 games. And like you say, it was that real like bad, they went on really bad runs, then like maybe won 1 game, but then went on a really bad run again. And I maybe wanted to see them have a bigger summer in terms of like recruiting more reliable experience, and the over-reliance on Kirsty Hansen for goals last season, then losing her, you look at that team and you think, I just don't know where you're going to get goals.
The problem with, did you read out their fixtures?
Yeah, so they've got Chelsea, City, Brighton, Spurs, and then it's not until their 5th game when they play Palace you think they get a more like winnable game.
The problem with them having a tough start is like that WSL mid-table like sludge. Like if you have a really tough start, there's like nothing you can do then to kind of get yourself out of that sludge. I think it's like either like you are right towards the bottom and it's a relegation battle, or kind of just like playing out the rest of the season like kind of in the middle, like no one really cares what you're doing. And that's where I think like it's just a struggle for them. It's just kind of boring, and like I don't know, it's like like you said, I don't think they're like recruitment or ambition, I don't think it's enough to have like probably a good cup run. So then it's like, where does that leave you in a season? Like, what is success for Villa this season?
Well, also they finished 9th last season. I've got them again to finish 9th. So that would just, if that it does end up happening, you think about obviously how the club view the project as well, and of it. I think you need to feel like you're moving in a sense of direction, and I think that's going to be harder for a lot of teams when you've got new and ambitious sides like Birmingham joining the league, because that's going to, you're going to probably drop down a few places on the basis.
Fun derby though.
Oh, there's growth. There's loads of good derbies now, I think, all around division. Okay, so we have a sort of 9th, 10th Villa, West Ham divide. I've got Liverpool in 8th. But that's progress. They finished 11th last season.
Yeah,
I've put us in the top half. We'll talk about them next week.
Okay, so I've got Liverpool 8th. Obviously, last season was really difficult for them. They finished 11th. They had a horrible first half of the season and then really picked up.
It's so funny they did not win a WSL game till January.
No, it was crazy.
I know, it's crazy.
Insane. Like, until I was like prepping for the new season, that factored kind of slipped my mind.
Bad.
They won 4 games, all four of them coming in January.
A little bit relegation scary at some point.
Yeah, and also because there was the 9-1 against Chelsea.
No,
I know, but it's just like that was at the point where you were starting to get good. Like it was sort of like maybe it was turning, and then that
was
happened.
bad.
Well, I think what I remember when we did our previews last season, we all talked about would Gareth Taylor be in trouble by Christmas, and he was. But he was given money to spend in January. He was given time, and they got 4 wins after January, which ended up basically rescuing their entire season. It still kind of wasn't enough to climb the table. They finished 11th. They did have another horrible defeat in the semi-final of the FA Cup, being 2-0 up. I'm sorry, Becky.
Oh, it makes me want to vomit.
And losing to Brighton,
it was horrible.
Which would have transformed their season if they'd been able to finish with an FA Cup final win. But I think every season they're getting closer. But it's been a really good summer, I think, for them. I think Itamura is a really exciting signing. I think Keating's a great addition because goalkeeper spot's been a bit of a challenge for them recently.
Beat United in the pre-season.
United in pre-season. Denise O'Sullivan leaving after a very short stint is not a great vibe, because I think she was a really good addition for them when she came in. Other departures: Gemma Bonner, who was like kind of coming towards the end of her WSL career anyway, and Leanne Kiernan, who was a big Matt Beard stalwart but hadn't maybe got as much game time for injuries, etc. And of course, actually, we've got to talk about the loss of Matt Beard last year and the impact that would have had on the squad, especially captain Grace Fisk, who had played under her at West Ham and Liverpool. I'm excited for them this season because it feels like a fresh start, and for me, I actually think 8th is okay, and if they finish higher, even better.
I only have them in 7th.
Yeah, so there you go.
Oh, you should have held out. Everyone could have thought you had them to win
first.
And a nice, ish start to the season. They got Charlton first game, get some points, Spurs, and then City.
How do you feel about Chiara Keating?
I feel okay about it because we've had a kind of stinky goalkeeper situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that she can be prone to some stink, but I think it's a good signing, and I feel okay about it.
She is a goalkeeper who's very fun to watch because she likes to take risks. Sometimes there's risk payoff.
That's actually just not what you want in
and sometimes
they
don't. I think she's shown herself to be a good shot stopper, but I think her decision making is still where she falls down. I think maybe with experience around her, and she's got experience in that back line, hopefully that will help. And also consistent game time without kind of being in and out of the City team. I want it to go well for her. I want her to get a place locked in the England squad for the World Cup. So I hope it works out.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think it was the right decision for her to leave City. I think she is someone who, for me, is never going to be like an elite goalkeeper, but can be a very good goalkeeper. And I'm intrigued to see how she develops with getting to play week in, week out. Marie Herbinger's also obviously back from her ACL injury, which I think will be a big, big positive for Liverpool.
Yeah, they were really destroyed by ACL injuries last year.
Yeah.
It was
and
crazy.
Itamura, I'm really, really excited to see, although I believe will be off to the Under-20 World Cup.
Yeah,
so
true.
will be one of these players who ends up sort of missing and there's a couple of them floating around as well, because Zara Shaw's another Liverpool one who I think could have a youngster who could have a big season, but she's off with England. Wait, so Becky, because me and Flo had almost identical 8 to 14s, can you just read out yours?
I actually had Spurs in the bottom half.
Whoa,
what the? Oh my God, bombshell.
Haterade.
I had Villa above Spurs.
Okay, go 8 down to 14.
Okay, Villa, Tottenham, Everton, Birmingham, Palace, West Ham, Charlton.
Okay.
I just
Talk to me about Spurs. Why do you think they're going to finish the bottom half?
I don't know. It's that middle bit from like 7th to like 11th where I'm like, really anything could happen in there. Like it's like that, you know. And I don't know. I like Villa, and I think I'm maybe it's more of a hopeful.
Let me tell you, there is no bigger Natalia Arroyo stan than me. When I went up to Villa to interview her, we chatted for 20 minutes, and then she was like, you got anywhere to go? And I was like, no. And we chatted for another 45.
Wow.
And then I felt bad because one of the press officers came over and was like, Natalia, you're meant to be over there doing stuff. We were just chatting about her life, what comedy. She was like, I watched a lot of British comedy when I moved over to try and like relate to my players.
Wow, that's
she was
cute.
like, really like Mr. Bean.
She's doing like a tight 5 in the changing room.
Mr. Beans is just like...
She was great chat. And I had been warned that like once you get her talking, you can't shut her up. But it was great. I was like, we're just
like
chatting about life. And she's very interesting because she was working as a journalist for a bit alongside her coaching. So like, you know, she knows about the grind. She knows what we're going through. And that's also why I think she knows she's like, it's good to be entertaining. She's like, I've had to, you know, hustle for a match report. So I know what you're going through. So Becky, there is no biggest Natalia Arroyo stan. I do just worry about the vision that she has as a coach and the tools that she needs. And actually the conversation we had was really interesting about how like different the English training environment is to what she expected. Like she said in Spain, you know, we just get a lot more touches on the ball. And she was like, we do a rondo, but we do a rondo with meaning, not just for like gags. You know, it's not just a fun warm up. It's like we're actually thinking about what we're doing. And like that adjustment with the squad that she's got, I think is, you know, that's tough to be able to take players on that journey.
Look, I'm not married to my kind of middle table. I think like it's going to be a bit of a...
It's kind of much for muchness down there,
exactly.
Right? But Spurs, we need to talk about why you think Spurs are going to be in the bottom half.
I'm just, again, like I'm just a bit bored of them. And I think that's clouded, like not clouding my judgment, because I think it's a fine judgment. It's just like, I think Spurs have been so... Like I think you expect a lot from them, maybe just because of like the name. I think you expect them to be challenging for that top 4, and they just haven't been able to do that. And I
didn't do too badly last season.
Yeah, but I'm just like, I think I see, I don't know, maybe it's also like they're kind of just like getting on with it in the background, and I'm not really noticing them. Whereas like maybe Villa are standing out more to me because they had that like standout season a few years ago, and I'm like, oh, I can see that like you were knocking on the door, whereas like with Spurs,
that's quite funny because I think Spurs had that season last season.
It didn't.
Well, also, I mean, we're going to get onto our part 2ers next week, but you're Jessy on the kind of like Spurs were bad last season, but you know, could this be the season what they kind of progress, or will it be a season where they're found out? Kind of question mark. You know,
Spurs are bad. Spurs obviously did well last season, like factually. My Spurs were bad last season was that their results were better than their performances, which when I spoke to Martin Ho before this season began, he agreed with. So me and Martin Ho are on the same page with regard to Spurs. But maybe we should talk next week.
We'll get onto it. And we'll leave it as a big question mark so people make sure they come back for part 2.
It's the classic, like, you've been the team that's like maybe like just outside it for one season. Like when in like the last 5 seasons has anyone kept that up for the next season? Liverpool, Villa, like.
But I think there's one big plummeting factor that maybe changes that a bit for this season. ...
All will be revealed in the next episode. A little bit of admin before we wrap up. Fantasy League. There's a new official Fantasy League game.
What are the rules? Are you?
Sorry, I'm
can you just?
boycotting.
Yeah, can you just not?
I cannot
pick
play a game with WSL
WSL2.
and WSL2
Can you just
together.
not pick WSL2 players, or is it like you need to
No,
have, like,
you don't have
you
to. You don't have to.
But you're just playing against people who are.
I made
Right.
a team that was just WSL players.
So you hate the WSL too?
Well, I think over time I will add.
Maybe
but
I'll
I did
make
one
two
very
teams.
quickly.
Maybe I'll make 2 teams. And that is like my version of a boycott of like one WSL team and one WSL2 team.
Some of the rules that have been in this game, they make a mockery of fantasy football.
Well,
for me, as a big fantasy football purist.
remember that WSL fans, they're not as smart.
They're not.
They
smart
don't
as normal
know.
football
They
fans.
don't know FPL. They're not.
The
FPL
whole
guys.
leg thing, I still can't get my head around it, and I don't get
What
it.
thing?
So the league, the competition is split into like sections because of like international breaks and the fact that WSL and WSL2 fixture list doesn't like always line up. So everything is split into like match week sections, which I still can't get my head around it. And then there's like individual prizes for winning those blocks of games. It doesn't make sense to me. I think you just got to do it traditional. But I think because of WSL and WSL2, they think that's the smartest way to do it. There's also too many gimmies. There's too many hand-holding tokens.
A free hit like every 2
There's
weeks.
a free
which
hit.
just defeats the entire point of the
There's
game.
a free hit every 2 minutes, and you can also like change your team after lineups have been confirmed, which I also think
That's
is
You can
crazy.
sub in
Crazy
during
business.
the weekend.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
only from your sub bench. You can't do transfers, but I still think
No.
that's crazy.
But
That's
yeah, so
crazy.
if you've got a player who's played on Saturday and they've got no points, you can swap them out for a player who's not played yet.
I think it just defeats the challenge.
The beauty of Fantasy Premier League is forgetting to do your substitutes, seeing they've got 10 points and like begging someone to not play from your team.
Yeah. I think it's too much hand holding.
It's just too much reinventing the wheel as well. Like,
Yeah.
there's a reason why fantasy football is incredibly popular already,
Yeah,
and
just
it's
keep
like
it simple.
quite a good system.
And I think, it's going to be a ever evolving game, and we have to say, like, credit to Aerial Fantasy for all they did in, setting the trend and creating a game from scratch that people loved, that was pretty simple to play, pretty easy. And, I think sometimes, like you say, Jessy, you can like kind of try too hard to create something that you think is accessible, but it's actually more complicated because like, I genuinely, the leg thing, I'm like, wait, but why?
Well, one of the things that I think is quite good about the FPL, like, and around sort of forgetting, is that obviously you are rewarded in FPL, and I play an even simpler version of Fantasy League generally as like a draft system, but you're rewarded in FPL for paying attention across the season, right? But this feels like the amount of reward you can get for paying attention non-stop every game is so much bigger than in normal FPL that actually it like really disincentivizes your average user who's not spending like all weekend every weekend thinking about this.
I think what they've done is they've looked at the fact that when you look at the numbers of FPL, the number of people that create a team and then never go back to it, they've like, oh, well, look at all the drop off. Let's try and create a game that, goes against the drop off factor, but actually you make it more drop offable by trying to make it simpler. And I think that is maybe a mistake that will maybe be changed as the seasons go by.
It also just has no sporting integrity if you're putting 2 leagues together. It makes no sense.
Well, the EFL game does that, but I don't play it.
Who plays the EFL game?
Some people do. It's also got weird rules. I was having a look at it yesterday because I've never played it. But the EFL game is across many divisions, but you only pick a very small amount of players, and you pick like certain clubs to it's a very unique game in order to, because it's hard to create a game that works across multiple leagues. Like, that's the challenge. So I understand the vision in that they are worried about the visibility of WSL2, and I get that because I've just created a game with no WSL2 players, or a team with no WSL2 players. So I understand they've worked to try and find a solution that works with both divisions, but I just don't know if it can work. I don't know if that makes sense.
Also like, the whole thing is like, the people that are going to play Fantasy WSL are your like core like audience who are already involved. Some things don't have to appeal to everybody. Like, I understand like you do different things to engage different parts of like WSL and WSL2 fandom of like people that are new, people that have been here forever. Not everything has to be for everybody.
Well, you've also got this problem that Aerial Fantasy and the game that they developed has brought in a whole new generation of people who probably haven't played fantasy football before, especially if they got into football through women's football. And instead of sort of taking them along, you've not only sort of alienated the people who like playing FPL and those set of rules, you've also then alienated the people who've come into the game in the last 2 or 3 years, which, I mean, I don't know.
Did you guys make FPL teams?
Yeah.
No, I've actually also given up on FPL
Okay,
this
because
year.
I renewed our league that was just the 3 of us, and neither of you have shown up. I don't know why you
Oh, no, I've
haven't
got
shown
one.
up. So I'm first.
I'm actually trying to...
You're going to give me that one.
I'm trying to commit myself again, because basically what happens with me is I'm like a textbook. I miss one week and then I'm like, whatever, game over. But I'm trying to commit again.
I already had a
this
crap
season.
first week, so I'm like,
I'm really
quite happy with my
on
team.
My fantasy, I've got one focus this season, and it's my fantasy.
I was
league
feeling
team.
very smug because I had Calafiori, I had Havertz, I had João Pedro. So I was feeling very
Guys,
smug.
I had
38
Jack
points.
Hinchell. I have got Jack Hinchellwood, so I was very pleased with my 2.
I'm
goals from
annoyed
my
I didn't get
Worthing boy.
Cole Palmer because I was thinking about it and then I didn't. So I might have to. But like, I think I'm pretty chuffed with my team. So let's see how long that lasts. But if you are playing fantasy, we are doing a Counter Press League.
What Flo is doing.
I will
Becky
be
might be.
really funny that we just slagged it off. For
At
10
the
minutes and
moment,
like,
there
"Anyone
is.
join our league?"
At the moment, I think there is just one member, and it's me. So I'm not going to read out the code. It's on our Instagram, and I'll put it on the Twitter as well. So come and join us there. What is called? I think her team was called Sister Sleggers, who won last year's Aerial Fantasy League. Got her Arsenal home shirt as her prize. So we've done back-to-back seasons of a very good prize if you win the league, which is a football shirt of your choice.
Maybe I'll do it.
So maybe that's your incentive to stay committed. And I believe for the legs, the WSL football are also running prizes.
I will
around
say,
that.
fair play to them. The prizes are good.
Yeah.
Are they?
Lots of season tickets.
Season tickets,
tickets.
shirts, signed stuff maybe as well.
Yeah.
There's goodies
Like
to be had.
hospitality
I mean, maybe they've won me back over. I do like a prize.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if you do want to play, go on the WSL app, join our league, set up your team. I did a very quick team just to like get the ball rolling. I'm actually quite happy with it. The pricing, I will say, is quite cheap, so you can fit in quite a lot. Like my
100 million budget.
Yeah, but the pricing, like you've got Bunny Shaw on like 12.5 and then everyone else is basically between 6 and 9 million. So you can fit quite a lot in there. Some of the positioning is weird. That often does happen with FPL anyway. I do think a lot is going to change. Some of the transfers haven't gone through. So I've put Gabby George in my team. She's still listed as a Manchester United player. So there's a lot of updates that need to happen. Anyway, if you do want to join, prize to be won if you can win the Counter Press League. We'll leave it there. Again, live show. Grab your tickets. It's going to be a laugh. We'll email West Ham about getting Rita down. Maybe for like wine. She's Italian. She must like wine.
Well, she was making a cocktail.
Negronis made by Rita. Let's see if we can make it happen. Okay, we'll leave it there. We'll be back next week with part 2. WSL table 7-1. See you then.